The room goes quiet the second the word order hits the air. Not suggestion, not request. Order. Jenny freezes because in that moment she stops being a wife and turns into a resident with rules. The tone shifts fast. Concern flips into command. Love gets replaced by authority. You can see it on her face. The slow understanding that this house does not see her as an equal adult, only someone who needs managing. Her age stops mattering. Her sacrifices stop mattering. All that matters is obedience. This is not about dizziness or food or sitting down for a minute. This is about control dressed up as care. When someone tells you to relax while tightening the grip, alarm bells should ring. Jenny thought marriage meant partnership. Instead, she walked into a family system where patience is demanded from one side only. Every soft word hides a harder rule underneath, and this is where the story stops feeling uncomfortable and starts feeling dangerous. Because once an order gets spoken out loud, there is no confusion left. You are either free or you are managed. And the question hanging in the air is simple and brutal. If love turns into orders, what exactly is Jenny fighting to stay for? Jenny and Sumit did not land here overnight. This move came after years of delays, promises, and long talks where everyone nodded and smiled. Living with Sumit's parents was sold as temporary, a short stay, a respectful pause before adult life resumed. The pitch sounded calm. Family time, bonding, learning routines, then freedom. You know the story. Stay patient now, enjoy peace later. Jenny believed harmony lived inside effort. Sumit believed time softened everyone. His parents believed proximity created obedience. 3 beliefs walked into one house, and none planned to leave quietly. The plan said a few weeks. Reality laughed and locked the door. At first, everyone tried. Polite smiles, shared meals, careful language. Jenny joked through tension because humor felt safer than conflict. A grown woman tiptoeing around rules about food, sleep, and space starts sounding absurd until absurd turns heavy. Living room comfort vanished. Privacy shrank. Freedom turned into permission slips. The promise stayed alive, though. Just hang on. Things settle. Parents relax. Walls soften. That promise kept Jenny steady longer than logic allowed. The dread crept in quietly. Small corrections, soft reminders, gentle guidance with sharp edges. The kind where someone says, relax while tightening control. This was sold as family harmony, but harmony only flows when everyone holds equal power. Jenny wanted partnership. Sumit wanted peace. His parents wanted order. Those goals never matched, yet everyone pretended alignment existed. The apartment waited like a memory of independence. Happy days, quiet nights, no rules about breathing. The longer the stay stretched, the louder the question grew. How long does temporary last before temporary turns permanent? Jenny's body speaks before anyone else does. The dizziness hits and the room snaps into action. Sit down, eat this. Don't move, don't argue. On the surface, this looks like care. On the surface, this looks kind. But bodies often react when words stay trapped. Stress leaks out somewhere, and for Jenny, it leaks out physically. Watch how fast concern turns into instruction. Sitting becomes required. Food becomes non-negotiable. Even the way she places her feet gets corrected. None of this is shouted. That makes it sharper. Control does not always raise its voice. Sometimes it smiles and says, relax. The food moment matters more than people admit. Jenny asks a simple thing. If I were sick, you would make me eat this, right? She's not asking about soup. She's asking about choice. And the answer floats in the air without being spoken. Yes, you eat what we give you. Yes, care comes with rules. Yes, your body belongs to the system once concern gets involved. Caretaking becomes leverage when consent disappears. The psychology is quiet but heavy. If you accept help, you accept authority. If you resist, you look ungrateful. That trap closes fast. Jenny tries to stay polite. She tries to stay calm. Her body already decided the truth before her mouth catches up. This is how control survives in families. No villains, no yelling. Just a steady stream of small instructions that erase independence piece by piece. The person giving orders believes they're helping. The person receiving them starts shrinking. And this is the moment viewers start feeling uneasy because care should not feel like confinement. Jenny is not collapsing. She is reacting. Her body is waving a flag her voice has not fully raised yet. And once your body starts protesting your environment, the situation has already crossed a line that words struggle to pull back from. Jenny looks around and realizes the landscape she stepped into is set in stone. 2 older women, 1 house, 0 flexibility. They are established, settled, confident in their ways. And yet the truth sinks in fast. Age does not automatically mean moral authority or the right to command. Jenny expected temporary comfort, she expected guidance, maybe a little family warmth. Instead, she got rules, obligations, and an unspoken verdict on how she should live. Here's the tricky part. Culturally, obedience to elders often comes wrapped in respect. In India, Sumit's parents aren't just parents, they are the law inside this household. And that creates tension for viewers outside the culture. Is Jenny being disrespectful, or is she asserting boundaries? And does insisting she follow rules indefinitely cross a line? You start seeing the push-pull between cultural authority and personal limits, and suddenly, everyone in the house is under the microscope. Watch how small things escalate. Jenny mentions moving back to her apartment where she and Sumit had freedom. The response is immediate. You're not going anywhere. You have to stay. It's an order. Age doesn't get you sympathy here. Age only gets you leverage. And for Jenny, that means negotiating space she never asked to give up. This is the moment the audience starts picking sides. Some empathize with her struggle for autonomy. Others feel she should respect the household she's chosen to enter. The fairness question hangs in the air like smoke. Is it fair to demand obedience for comfort? Is it fair to be asked to leave your freedom behind for someone else's peace of mind? And this is the point where viewers start whispering to themselves, would I endure this, or would I push back? Every instruction, every insistence, every expectation suddenly feels loaded. Age brings weight, not justice. Cultural authority brings responsibility, not automatic control. And in this quiet, tension-filled house, the audience sees both the invisible rules and the human cost. Jenny is caught in the crossfire, and we are forced to ask, where does fairness truly live in this home? Jenny's voice rises, barely contained as she finally says it out loud. She and Sumit were happy before. Their apartment wasn't just 4 walls, it was freedom. No unsolicited advice, no rules about what to eat or where to sit. They could breathe, make mistakes, even laugh without judgment. That simple declaration hits the room like a spark in dry tinder. Happiness suddenly becomes dangerous. Because here's the thing, when someone thrives outside the system, it's a threat. The rigid expectations of the house, the long-standing order, suddenly look fragile. Jenny wasn't asking for special treatment, she was asking for a right many take for granted, space to live without constant oversight. Yet in their eyes, this is not a reasonable request. Freedom feels like rebellion. Her joy feels like a challenge. And the tension rises instantly because rules were meant to be followed, not questioned. Jenny keeps talking, her words laced with frustration, and you can almost feel the weight pressing down from every corner of the house. We were free. We could do anything. Nobody minded. And the room goes quiet, but silence isn't relief. It's anticipation. It's the calm before a storm. The parents are processing, measuring, deciding whether to soften or double down. This is where emotional stakes climb higher than ever. Jenny is not just negotiating space. She's negotiating recognition. Recognition that she is not a visitor in someone else's world. She is part of a marriage, part of a partnership that deserves respect. And yet, the older generation, set in routines and authority, sees the pushback as disobedience. The clash is inevitable. The room is taut, the tension almost visible, because every word could tilt the balance. And just when it seems like a resolution might appear, the parents' next move hangs in the air. Will they relent? Will they insist she stay? Will the order expand, solidifying control even further? At this moment, viewers are left holding their breath, asking, what will happen next, and can happiness survive under someone else's rules? Jenny's plea for autonomy collides with a household built on control. Freedom versus family becomes not just a choice. It becomes a battlefield, emotional and unpredictable. And as the camera lingers, you can feel it. The next words could either shatter the fragile peace or cement a new kind of confinement. Then it happens. The word lands like a hammer. It's an order, not a suggestion, Not a request, not even a plea, but an order. Jenny freezes. You can almost see her stomach drop. Every prior moment, the dizzy spell, the careful meals, the gentle warnings, all of it suddenly takes on a sharper, darker edge. What was framed as concern now becomes command. This is the emotional peak, the instant when control becomes unmistakable. Language matters, and in this moment, it is everything. Saying you have to live with us is not neutral. It removes choice. It frames Jenny not as a wife, not as a partner, but as someone under obligation. A resident, a guest with no exit. That one word transforms the room. Every casual don't get upset from earlier scenes now reads like preparation, like a slow build up to this crescendo of authority. The earlier care disguised control, and now the mask has slipped. Let's unpack the power in that phrasing. An order implies hierarchy, obedience, and consequence. It is not negotiable, not open to discussion. In the context of a family, especially a cross-cultural, multi-generational household, it carries immense weight. The parents are not just expressing preference, they are asserting dominance, and Jenny's freedom, which once seemed obvious and natural, suddenly feels stolen. For the viewer, this is a moment of anger and disbelief. We've seen Jenny try to explain herself, to remind them and us that she was happy before, that she and Sumit had autonomy. And yet, the answer is not compromise. The answer is command. It is a direct collision of personal boundaries against entrenched authority. And here's the kicker. The receipts are clear. The dizziness moment, the meals, the rules about sitting, they were never about care alone. They were rehearsals for control, small moves, and a larger chess game. Every earlier scene now points to this moment, and suddenly nothing feels innocent anymore. What once looked like normal family tension is now unmistakable power play. The audience is left reeling, thinking, how can a marriage survive when the rules are dictated, not negotiated? Can love coexist with obligation framed as an order? Jenny's world has shifted in seconds, from hopeful adjustment to shock, from tentative harmony to rigid command. And the viewers riding this emotional wave are forced to pick a side. Can authority ever justify stripping someone of choice, or is this the ultimate line crossed? And then there's Sumit, quiet in the corner, watching the storm unfold. His silence is deafening. On one hand, he's loyal to his parents, raised to respect authority, to prioritize family cohesion over confrontation. On the other hand, he is Jenny's husband, theoretically a partner, expected to protect her boundaries. That split, loyalty versus love, becomes almost unbearable to witness. Think about what silence does in moments like this. It signals consent to the parents, even if unspoken. Each nod, each lack of objection, subtly reinforces the order. And yet, Sumit's cultural conditioning is powerful. In his upbringing, questioning parents is disrespectful. Challenging authority is dangerous. So, in his mind, avoiding conflict is protecting everyone, not harming Jenny. It's a classic emotional avoidance that feels protective but is complicated in real life. For viewers, this is where debate sparks. Was Sumit complicit? Could he have intervened differently? Should he have spoken up, no matter the cultural cost? This tension between empathy for his upbringing and criticism for his inaction becomes a mirror for the audience. How much can we hold someone accountable when their values clash with what we see as fairness? Yet, fairness doesn't excuse inaction entirely. The order was given. Jenny's autonomy was undermined. And while Sumit may feel trapped between worlds, he is not invisible in this drama. His role is pivotal because it embodies the subtle, complex pressures of culture, love, and family loyalty. Pressures that fans online are already dissecting, debating, and judging. We start to see him less as a villain and more as a human caught in a triangle of expectations. But his choices, or lack thereof, carry consequences. Every silent moment is another brick in the wall confining Jenny. Every avoidance makes the audience question, is love enough to break through cultural expectations? Or does silence become betrayal when boundaries are violated? The viewers are left debating themselves. How much responsibility lies with Sumit, and how much is simply cultural context? And in the quiet between the arguments, the tension grows, almost unbearable. Sumit is the eye of the storm, but even eyes can't stay neutral forever. The question looms. What will he do when silence is no longer an option, and the stakes for his marriage rise higher than ever? Fans went online immediately after this episode and the conversation exploded. Clips of Jenny being told she has to stay were everywhere. Comments weren't just opinions, they were emotional reactions, almost visceral. Anger, disbelief, frustration. People were projecting, feeling the shock Jenny felt in real time. Some viewers empathized with her struggle for autonomy. Others tried to understand Sumit's silence, while many condemned the parents outright. This scene hit harder than almost anything before because it's relatable on a deep human level. We've all experienced someone imposing rules that feel arbitrary, controlling, or dismissive of our feelings. But here, it's magnified. It's about marriage, cultural expectations, and a personal life that is suddenly not entirely your own. It resonates because it isn't just reality TV drama. It's a tension most of us can recognize, even if the stakes aren't as high. People question fairness, the limits of parental authority, and what a spouse's role should be. Could you stay calm if your partner's parents told you where you must live? Would loyalty to family outweigh standing up for your own happiness? Many viewers felt torn, which sparked a flood of threads and debates. Emotional mirroring is happening. Viewers see Jenny's discomfort and feel it themselves. It's why the clip is going viral. The emotional intensity is contagious. Online discourse made it clear this wasn't just another episode. People are rewatching the moment, pausing and replaying her expressions. Everyone is trying to process what they would do in her place, and that empathy keeps engagement high. The combination of control, family expectations, and the unflinching delivery of "this is an order" created a perfect storm for audience discussion. The scene is still trending because it touches something universal. When personal freedom collides with authority and no one steps in to mediate, emotions erupt and viewers can't look away. At its core, this moment isn't just about one house or one family. It's about what marriage can look like when autonomy collides with tradition. Jenny isn't being disobedient or difficult. She's navigating a life she thought she had chosen, only to find her personal freedom under negotiation. Age doesn't automatically grant wisdom or fairness, and being older doesn't justify imposing rules that erase someone else's agency. What this situation highlights is the delicate balance between family marriage and self-respect. Boundaries matter, even in cultures that emphasize collective living. Emotional health is tied to having a voice and being heard, and Jenny's struggle reminds us that even small daily impositions can accumulate into real stress. For viewers, there is a takeaway that doesn't require judgment. Pay attention to how power and care can overlap in relationships. Acts that appear nurturing, offering food, checking in on someone who's dizzy, can subtly shape compliance. Recognizing it is the first step to asserting personal needs while maintaining respect for family dynamics. Even after the chaos, there's clarity, autonomy matters, and emotional boundaries are not negotiable. This scene leaves us reflecting quietly, beyond the drama. It asks us to notice how love, respect, and obligation interact, and how crucial it is to carve space for your own well-being, even when traditions or family pressure weigh heavy. In the calm after the storm, the lesson is simple. Understanding power, communication, and personal limits isn't just drama, it's life. Jenny's position is still hanging in the air, like a weight that hasn't dropped. She isn't gone, she hasn't folded, but she also hasn't won. The house feels smaller, the rules sharper, and every interaction carries the tension of unspoken ultimatums. Viewers feel it too. Every glance, every pause, every carefully measured word becomes a battlefield. The promise of resolution has been postponed, and that's exactly what makes this moment so heavy. The unease lingers because we know this is only the beginning. Patience has limits. Jenny's tolerance, Sumit's silence, the parents' insistence, each of these threads is fraying. What seems like minor family friction will escalate, and the next chapter will test boundaries in ways that viewers won't see coming. The calm before the storm is a trap. It's the eye of tension that lets everything outside feel bigger, louder, more urgent. This episode closes without closure, and that's what hooks us. The audience knows the pressure will rise until someone finally draws a line. We can almost feel the coming confrontation simmering, the point where polite negotiation gives way to emotional reckoning. Jenny's struggle isn't just personal. It's a reflection of what happens when individual desire collides with rigid expectations, and we're left watching, waiting, and wondering who will finally speak up and what the fallout will look like. Next time, the house won't stay quiet, rules will be challenged, patience will crack, and one decision will change everything for Jenny and Sumit. And as that tension builds, the next video will take you straight into the heart of the storm, where family, freedom, and loyalty collide in ways you won't forget.